Pozdravljeni in pozdravljene na temni strani Lune. Z vami sva
Dunja
in Maruša.
in pred nami je nova aprilska epizoda podcasta in tudi tokrat je z nama gostja.
Ja, res je, z nama se je pogovarjala Tijana Prodanović, astrofizičarka, ki se ukvarja tudi s komunikacijo znanosti in astronomije. Tijana, ki sva jo spoznali še pred leti, je pred kratkim začela uporabljati družabno omrežje Tik Tok za popularizacijo astronomije in je pri tem zelo uspešna. Sledi ji več kot 50,000 uporabnikov in veliko jih z njo komunicira, išče preverjene informacije in jo sprašuje o astronomskih in drugih fizikalnih poskusih, ki jih izvaja.
In predno začneva, naj se tudi zahvaliva vsem podpornikom in podpornicam. Podporo v obliki simbolične kave nama lahko tudi ostali ponudite na povezavi, in sicer ko-fi.com poševnica temna stran Lune. Povezavo bova dodali tudi v opis podcasta.
Intervju so posneli samo nekaj dni pred izidom podcasta, zato so se odločili, da ga ohraniva v izvirnem angleškem jeziku. Verzijo z zvočnimi podnapisi bova objavili kasneje.
Our guest today is Tijana Prodanović. She's an astronomer or astrophysicist. She is professor of astronomy and she's a science communicator from Serbia. Tijana, thanks for being with us. And I do not know if our listeners know what you are doing, but can I ask you first to explain why are you known as Dr. Cosmic Ray, if this has any connection with all that I was saying before?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me here. I mean, it was so good. I've been listening to your podcast, and I'm glad to be your guest here. But yeah, Dr. Cosmic Ray, that's my stage name, secret stage name, like astrophysicist by day and Dr. Cosmic Ray by night. So Cosmic Ray is something that's a major part of my research. So basically, my PhD and my most research focuses on cosmic rays and general nuclear and particle astrophysics. But recently, like just pre-corona, I think, I started making TikToks. I came to the dark side. And that's a stage name, my TikTok name I landed on. And it's now also on Instagram, my stage name. And that's how people now know me as of all the things I've done now, mostly known, oh, that's that TikToker, Dr. Cosmic Ray, or they call me TikTok professor. Yeah.
You are very passionate about astronomy and also science communication. So how did your passion start for this? Did you have any role models or did you just one day wake up and wanted to do this?
Actually, that's not as happy story. Uh, so it's a tricky story, but okay. Yeah. So okay, I love astronomy, space. That's fine since I was a kid and I knew I wanted to do science. But science communication, that wasn't anywhere, on my horizon, basically. And one of the major moments that impacted that decision later on was in 99, so just before 2000, there was a total solar eclipse, right? And that was visible from the north of Serbia. And so it's a sad story. And we all went to observe. I was a second or third year student, maybe at the university. So we students, organized ourselves and went to north. So it wasn't visible from Belgrade or Novi Sad, but you had to go north to Horgoš. This basically a border between Serbia and Hungary to observe the totality, right? But what happened? Most of the population in Serbia basically was hiding in their homes with blinds down because that was a public announcement, public statement. I mean, it was all, of course, political, and to scare people and keep people in fear. It was all the time of the bombing in Kosovo and all this crisis, and people were already really freaked out and scared. and they listen to those public announcements. They should stay in their homes and hiding. But to me, it was like, okay, I get it. You're scared. I get it. Bad things happen. But where is the basic scientific literacy? Where is this? I mean, we're about to enter a new millennium, and we are hiding from a celestial event, like cavemen in our houses. And to me, that was so depressing. I was like, I could not believe it. I mean, there are videos on YouTube still that you can just type in, solar eclipse 99 in Serbia, like empty streets. It was like this zombie apocalypse movie where you see, completely empty streets. And to me, that was really, really shocking. Like I really could not believe it. And when I think about it, I was like, okay, that's on us. That's on us, scientists and on educators, that we could not explain it better, could not teach people better. That you know that's really some general common knowledge that they should know better, right? So that stuck with me. And then when I went to do my PhD in the States, so that was also a major shift. So basically, the way of teaching at the university in Serbia is more, more conservative, more frontal, more, like old school. Like professors are serious, and there's this distance between professor and a student, and you ask nothing, you keep quiet, you write down what they write on a board, and so on. It's not fun usually. I mean, things are changing slightly, but at that time we're talking, 2001 when I left. And then when I got to States, really lectures were fun, even in grad school, like even for us senior students, and also in undergrad. I was like, they're learning, but it's fun, it's interesting, it's engaging. Look, and everyone is okay with that, and everyone is okay with being on first name basis with their professors, and but they still have that respect, and they're still learning. I was like, oh, okay, so it really matters how you talk about stuff. I mean, I knew that before, because I was on the receiving end, and I was thinking, okay, this shouldn't be like this. But I wasn't sure how it was supposed to be. Is it possible to be any way else? Yeah, and so basically, when I came back to Serbia in 2006, so I started teaching at the university, and in 2008 I got involved with this Fame Lab competition. But it always was clear to me that this, how you communicate, how you talk about science, really makes a difference. Really makes a difference. Because when I would listen to scientists, like, on TV from Serbia, something, it's really, like, it really sounds boring, it sounds unclear, really confusing, and like it's mandatory to be really serious and to use big words, so that, but general population, they just want to, know what's the point of this, so yeah, that's how I became passionate about science communication. It's a long story, but that's why that's why I became passionate, because I didn't want this solar eclipse fiasco to happen again. That became my mission. Like, I don't want that.
So did you mentioned the Fame Lab competition,
Yeah.
and you participated at that at in year 2008, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what is Fame Lab competition, and why? How did you decide to participate in this
Yeah.
competition?
Yeah, that was a big also, like, impact on me, and actually doing that's what actually jump started my second job as a science communicator, unofficial second job. Yeah, that's the competition organized by the British Council. Now, British Council is an organization. It's in many countries, in Slovenia, I bet, in Serbia, in many countries, but they do a lot of things cultural, but also they do a lot of things with respect to science communication, science outreach. Now Brits are also very big on science communication, next to Americans. So it's really, science communication is very developed in the UK, and they have this Fame Lab competition, which is a competition for the best young science communicator, right? So that competition has been going on for, I don't know, some number of years. Started in the UK, then they went internationally, then moved to other countries. and there was this competition in 2008 in Serbia. Now, I didn't first enroll in that. I actually got a call from someone in British Council. They were doing also some other program called the Science Cafe, where they did this, but in collaboration with national television, like a science TV show where they get a scientist to do, a show on something. So I was talking about the dark matter, and I did my presentation, whatever talk. Basically, it's like a talk, but on TV. They sometimes also run it again. Anyway, so when I did that, someone told me one of the participants of the previous year Fame Lab, they were in the audience, and she was later a friend of mine and a colleague of mine from the University of Novice. She told me, "Oh, you should do maybe Fame Lab competition. You're good at this, so you should try Fame Lab." I was like, "Okay, I'm not too happy with competitions. I get really anxious. I don't like competing." Um, but what got me there, there were for the finalists. Finalists got to do a master class in science communication. I was like, okay, I want to do a master. I want to get a chance to be in a master class in science communication. I was like, okay, I'm doing this competition. I just want to be among the 10 finalists. And yeah, I got in, and we had a great master class, 2-day master class, and that was awesome. Run by Quentin Cooper, who he's a major science communicator from the UK, and that was really really good 2-day workshop. And then we had the finals, and I won the national competition. And then I went to international Fame Lab competition, which was in UK in Cheltenham, and I came second then. And a friend and colleague from Croatia, Marko Košiček, he won. He was he was the winner that year. So that was awesome. And we had another master class in Cheltenham. So I was like, yay! So basically, I got 2 crash courses in science communication, and actually after that, in 2009, I organized the first science festival in Novi Sad. I was one of the organizers, so yeah, that's how it went.
Tijana tukaj omenja tekmovanje Fame Lab, ki je zelo razširjeno po svetu, nikakor pa ni edino take vrste. V Sloveniji, na primer, se že od leta 2016 dogaja znanstveni slam, ki ga prireja Zavod Znanost na cesti. Mladi znanstveniki in znanstvenice se s kratko poljudno znanstveno predstavitvijo svojega dela predstavijo občinstvu, ki nato glasuje o zmagovalcu oziroma zmagovalki. Izkušnja je obojestransko zanimiva, saj publika izve nekaj novega, in sicer o delu znanstvenikov in znanstvenic, nastopajoči pa na zanimiv in prijeten način strne svoja znanja v nekajminutno predstavitev, pri kateri se lahko tudi pomaga s pripomočki ali izvede zanimiv poskus.
So you recently said that you spent 15 years of your life telling people how we haven't found aliens yet, but now in your new work, you help them put in the movies.
Yeah.
So you're an astrophysicist, but you changed your field a bit recently. And
Yeah.
so what exactly do you do, and what is the most fascinating part of your job?
Yeah. So I'm still a scientist. Once a scientist, always a scientist. Yeah. But basically, 2 years ago, I switched completely. I made a career switch. I basically moved from the university. I'm still related to. I still teach a bit at the University of Belgrade, but my main day job is at a startup. And basically now I'm in a field of it's all data science to me, but in general, it's a field of computer vision. But what makes that possible, basically, and that's what I always tell my students, like when you do your PhD, when you do science, when you become a researcher, it's not about the actual subject. I mean, your superpower, the main skill you learn is how to crack problems, how to solve problems, how to tackle them, how to problem solving, and how to deal with data. And when you put it like that, like it's all data. I mean, like computer vision, when you think about it, it's not that different from astronomy. Like all you get is pictures, basically. And from those pictures, you have to figure out the 3D world. So that's what I do. So it's not, space. It's earthly, but yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But at the end, what brings an astronomer to TikTok? Since we talked about science
Ah,
communication, how did you land it on TikTok?
yeah, yeah. Well, in general, when you think about it, I mean, there are memes on this on Twitter and everywhere. Then the meme I'm referring to, the picture of physicist, someone boring looking, an astronomer, some with all the colors and feathers and everything. So, and that's what I always say. Like, astronomy is the best way to sell physics. That's a selling point of physics. And that's what I basically do. I just sell a bunch of physics and math through talking about space, because astronomy. When you think about, okay, so I did a lot of science festivals and workshops for even kids in elementary school, in kindergarten. I have my own nephews. So with kids, there are two things: space and dinosaurs.
Yes.
That basically covers most of the kids.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Right,
I
right.
have this.
Yeah, your sample
Yeah,
matches this
my
my
sample
theory.
matches
Yeah,
matches
okay.
completely.
Okay, yeah, it's based on dinosaurs, right? And later on, they move on to things, but you just have to keep them at space, and and with that, you can teach them and prepare them for the scary physics and math. That, well, it's not scary, but usually schools make it scary, and just ease them into that, and keep bringing them to it's space, but math and physics are just tools, but we're learning about space. So and yeah, so and TikTok, I realize it's a great place to sell all this science, fancy glittery science of space, physics in space, to kids on TikTok, because like I said, I have nephews, and I've been watching them, just scrolling through TikTok, and I want to check in. Well, what do they watch? Well, there are some challenges, some dances, some, okay, but most of kids nowadays are using TikTok. I'm like, okay, so we've been organizing this researchers night like 3 years ago, and our main theme was, let's have more online presence. We have this researchers night, which is
Mhm.
like big event, big crowd, like 20,000 visitors, hands-on experiments, so on. But like, okay, now in this day and age, we have to make more content online, and so, okay, let's do something on TikTok. And I thought, okay, let's get some influencers to do something on TikTok to make like a science challenge. And I got someone, he did it, but I was like, maybe, yeah, maybe I could do it as well. Maybe I can do it better. I don't know. It's like, because that's what I've been doing. I know how to sell science. It sounds bad when I say sell, but it's not sell. I talk about science, but yeah, in a way, you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah.
but and then I did this video on TikTok. I have this cool tool, that's this. Do you know Makey Makey?
No, no.
Makey
What
Makey.
do you?
Okay, is this like, it's like almost. I think it's maybe Arduino. It's similar to Arduino, but
Okay.
some small motherboard that you connect with the USB to a computer. But
Mhm.
you have this cable on the on the other side, and you can attach them to anything that is, oh my god, that conducts current,
Mhm.
basically.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
And you can connect it to a fruit with or to something, and you can use that to play music or to do something, or exchange it for a keyboard, something like that. So or to have five people holding those, and you play on their hands. When you close the circuit, you clap on them, a sound is produced from the laptop. So it's really a effective demo, and I did that for my first TikTok, and then I was surprised. I mean, it suddenly There are like 10,000 views.
Wow.
I was like, okay, what? I just opened this account. Like,
Yeah.
I have no followers. I know no one here. And I was like, oh, right, it's the algorithm. And then I started paying attention to how the algorithm works. And that's what makes it different. Like, okay, I had Facebooks and basically Facebook opened, because I was in the States when Facebook was created. But now it's for old people.
Yes.
And keeping track with friends, what are they up to. It's fine. Instagram, yeah, I was never into Instagram. I was like, what should I do with pretty pictures? I don't know. I, I didn't get it. But then TikToks, it was more interactive. People are doing something, everyone is watching. And it was like suddenly tons of views, and I know for Instagram and YouTube, like people had to work really hard to get viewers and to get followers. And I on YouTube, I always thought, okay, maybe I should have a YouTube channel, but then there's a lot of editing. It looks professional, like a TV show. It can be just whatever. So I never had the time to do that. And then TikTok, it was just this like handheld videos of people doing whatever in their pajamas, basically. And no fancy editing, no nothing. And you get these thousands of views because the algorithm, the way the culture, and I've been observing my nephews how they interact with TikTok. There's this for you, and there's this who you're following, and the whole way how TikTok is consumed is not you don't scroll through videos of your friends or who you're following, which is basically what we do on Facebook, for instance, and or on Instagram. Uh, you basically are watching what the algorithm suggests you. So that's the for you. It was all about for you. And I was wondering, what's this hashtag for you? What's for you? And it's like they're trying to make the algorithm to suggest to push your videos so that people would see it. And then I looked deeper into that. That's the good thing about TikTok is that basically the algorithm just feeds you randomly some videos, some part based on your preferences, but always there is a batch that is completely random, just
Mhm,
random, right?
mhm.
And if viewers engage with your video and somehow spend some time viewing it, liking it, whatnot, then TikTok algorithm sends the next batch of your videos to next number of users, progressively larger groups of people. So that way, videos can get, if they're engaging, they can get viral. And even though the user, I mean, who the creator does not have like a single follower, basically, which is great. And what I saw was later on, I got people who wrote to me saying, "Oh my God, I hated physics, but then I saw your videos and so on." And why that's good, because those people would never search for content that is
Mm-hmm.
physics,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
somehow they came across my video. Maybe they didn't even realize it's physics. It's not physics, it's space, it's fun space, right? And then, I mean, they liked it, and then later on they realized it's physics. And that's why I think for educational purposes, I think TikTok has great potential because of that. Way that it can reach users that you would not generally reach. I mean, in YouTube, you have to find content directly. You have to know what you're looking for. There's the entire culture of how TikTok is consumed is you just scroll to whatever algorithm is feeding you, and sometimes you find something that you didn't even know you liked.
Tijana se z nama pogovarja o potencialu, ki ga ima platforma TikTok za širjenje znanstvenih vsebin. Vendar TikTok je tudi platforma, o kateri se veliko govori v zadnjem obdobju, predvsem zaradi podatkovne varnosti. TikTok je izjemno priljubljen in uporabljen tudi med mladimi v Sloveniji. Je celo na 2. mestu med osnovnošolci in na 3. mestu med srednješolci med najbolj priljubljenimi in uporabljenimi aplikacijami. O TikToku so se ravno pred kratkim pogovarjali v miniseriji Odbita do bita, ki jo pripravljata Maruša Kerec in Anže Tomič. V tem sklopu epizod sta se o varnosti same aplikacije pogovarjala z Gorazdom Božičem, vodjo Nacionalnega odzivnega centra za kibernetsko varnost CERT, o dezinformacijah z Nejcem Slukanom iz Fakultete za družbene vede in o digitalnih navadah mladih v Sloveniji s Katjo Koren Ošljak, raziskovalko na Fakulteti za družbene vede in ustanoviteljico zavoda Vsak, ki skrbi za digitalno vzgojo otrok. Tako da ste zelo vabljeni, da tudi njim prisluhnete. Bova dodali povezavo v zapiske. What are the most common questions that you get on TikTok? And what is your audience also on TikTok? So if you know.
Yeah, audience is younger, definitely. TikTok tracks demographics, but doesn't show you younger than 18. It shows you only older. But we know that most people are younger than 18. I'm not sure if they're binned maybe on the above 18 group. Probably they are, or they're just invisible. I think they're binned maybe. What do they ask? Oh, I love their questions. I have this entire group of TikToks they call shababakababa, šta bi bilo, kad bi bilo, what if, what if.
What if?
And they have these, and those are the most precious questions that you don't get in classroom usually. What if sun stops shining? What if earth stops spinning? What if moon disappeared? What if the entire planet was made of water? What if, like, you have this bunch of what ifs, and that are priceless to show them this functional knowledge, basically. To basically, okay, they learn something in school and it's applied to textbook cases, friction, gravity. We all have the same, examples. But you have a completely new situation, and now you show them, like, how you can connect that knowledge that they learned in different areas to some unknown situations. So let's think about it. Okay, Earth is spinning. Well, what does that impact? Let's think about it. What happens when you suddenly stop something that's spinning? What happens? What will happen on Earth? So you have this opportunity to take them through this logical reasoning of how do you solve problems in unknown situation? How do you solve a hypothetical scenario? I also have one. A list of one also series of TikToks that they make that I like to call alien detectives. And I take, and they love it. I take aliens from movies, and that all came to be because I love science in movies. I'm a big fan of movies. I work now in a company that does movies, and I always think about what's good science, what's bad. I mean, I like to enjoy movies. I enjoy movies even with bad science because they're just fun, to watch. But sometimes I put my scientist hat on and think about, oh, how good is this or not. And I started with I give talks on the science behind Superman, and I made TikToks on that. But this alien detectives is I just take any alien, well-known alien, and think about, okay, based on what we know about that alien, how it looks like. How could its planet, host planet, look like? So if we have an alien from movie Alien, like Xenomorph, just knowing that it has like acid for blood, I could say maybe Venus. If acid is raining, you better be used to acid everywhere. So maybe it can have acid for blood. So logic like that. If it's blind, maybe there's no sun. Maybe it's living underground, or so yeah. If it's Yoda, if it's green, if it's deaf, if it has big eyes. So I just make up stuff, but I try to make it reasonable. Like if it's tall, maybe it's a smaller planet with weaker gravity. So yeah,
But
makes sense.
so you you think that TikTok could make a change in people's mind or in people's I don't know, views about astronomy or science?
Oh, for science, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, it's it's a double-edged sword. You can also give misinformation, but again, the culture, how TikTok is consumed, okay, and how young people I see interact on it. I get tagged daily on videos that they find suspicious or that they are not sure what they are seeing, and them tagging me, oh, is this true? Is this correct? So they're checking with their trusted sources. One of my former students, actually, she's also a TikToker. She has much more followers than me, and so on. She's closer to their age, so it's more like a peer learning thing. And her followers who don't know me, sometimes when I post something and they see my video, they tag her to ask her if what I'm saying is correct, which is fine. They don't know. I'm like who's this random person saying some things that may not be true? Let me check with my trusted source. Fine, go check with your authority, right? So I like that. I like that they're checking, and it really gives us the opportunity to change some things. Like sometimes they wonder about something, they don't know who to ask. Now they can. Or maybe I encounter some video where someone is wondering about something, so I can then reply or do a stitch or duet. There are different modes of what you can do on TikTok. But yeah, I think TikTok is really underrated in terms of educational potential.
Yeah, I think it's very good. I think also one of the ideas is to teach the audience to never just directly trust everybody, but also go and check your information with your trusted
Yeah,
source, as you said.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what bringing me hope. Like observing younger generations on TikTok, they're actually not as clueless as we think, as older people think.
Yeah, yeah.
They really, they check, they double check. They can stand their ground, and they know that a lot of things on Instagram are fake. We just have to give them tools to help them, to show them these ways, good ways that they can check things.
Speaking about tools,
Hmm.
do you have any announcement to make, maybe, about tools to fact checking?
Fact checking. Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I finally think I'm gonna start a podcast. We
Good.
still haven't landed on a name, but okay, because a lot of my TikToks are about when people tag me about something that they read on the news. Is it true? Or maybe that I see something in the news that wasn't completely correct. So I thought maybe it's time to make a podcast where we would cover science news monthly, basically, and talk about the science behind those news. Because in TikTok, I just talk about it in a minute or 3 minutes. I need more time
Yeah,
to
sure,
talk about
sure, sure.
different topics. But also, other main part of that podcast, the idea is to be about how basically developing critical thinking, how we can break down this information that we see online. How do we break down how we can trust them or not trust them? How we can check them? How we look for sources? So yeah, that's sort of podcast that hopefully will start this month, I think.
So, welcome to the family.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be pinging you about advice.
Yeah,
You
sure,
guys are
sure.
pros, so yeah, I'm just a noob.
Uh, Now that you were speaking about young people, for example, trusting their sources, trying to understand how to break down the news, how to understand what is behind the news, and so on. Do you do you think that there is a chance that they get to untrustworthy sources, maybe, or that they trust people that should not? Should not be, or are, I don't know, are
Yeah,
influencers,
yeah.
but they still trust them, and not
Yeah, that's
critically.
true. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. That's very true. That's why we have to get in the arena where they are. right? And
Yeah.
that's what I've been preaching around to my colleagues, that I know we're old, but we should all get on TikTok, you know. And because kids, I mean, they want to learn, but we have to offer them some other authorities and some other sources they can trust, because I mean, the time has changed in terms of who's your trusted source of information. Before, it was the news, it was the books, it was the classroom, the university, the scientists, the experts. With internet now, the expert can be anyone with large enough reach, right? Large enough views. I mean, writing books and papers, as we all know, takes time. Like, you do research fast, and then you keep on writing papers for ages. Like uh, the most tedious and boring work, but it needs to be done because that's how you produce trusted sources. Verifiable. Um, but to write a blog, to record a video that you post on YouTube takes nothing, a few minutes, So you can just write whatever you want, and people do that, and they write things that are not true. So we have a rise of pseudoscience, fake science, like outright conspiracy theories. I'm not even pretending to be science. And the common thing about them is that they're loud. They're loud and they're very active in the public arena, which we are not in science. We are not that loud, and we don't like to go in the public that much. We stay in our own labs, in our own classrooms, offices, and our job is to do science. And I mean, from science perspective, there's a large pressure on us to publish or perish, to produce results, and all this science communication is often viewed as waste of time. I mean, that was my experience at the university. Like, you're wasting your time, like doing this, and it's not rewarded enough. This engagement in, in 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 communicating with the public, explaining science. And if we are not doing that, then people are now going to find their trusted sources, trusted experts among those who are most vocal, who know how to sell this, who usually play on their fears, on the emotional card. I mean, there's the whole psychology behind that. And if we are not there to counter that, to offer the other side, science will become less and less visible, because no one will. I mean, learning science with book, with research papers, is hard. If you go to university, that's hard, and not everyone should do that, and not everyone needs to do that. But someone should be there to break it down to people, and we should I mean, do I see it? I mean, we sort of, I say we, I mean scientists, we cannot get used to the idea that trust is not immediately given to us. We are the experts. Why are they not trusting us? And then people don't get that, and I don't get it either. But that's what it is. So we have to deal with it. We just have to get used to that. That we have to earn that trust. Just like when those kids were fact checking me with my student, that's what it is nowadays. At one point they commented, but I'm her professor, and they go, so what? But it's fine. You have to now we have to earn their trust, and that's the big shift that happened. And we can do that only if we are out there and talking about science, and hearing people what they fear about, and what they think, and talking to them. So that's what science communication it is. And I think nowadays science communication is more important than ever.
Do you think that looking at the solar eclipse now in Serbia, it would be
Yeah, it changed. It
changed? It
changed.
changed?
We had a partial recently, so I've
Yeah.
seen people watching. I was like, okay, good, good. At least, at least. But yeah. I mean, I know it's all political. Oh, I recently saw. Yeah, that's a bit, it's not more political comment, but it tells you that this tight relation between politics and science. So there was this documentary that a woman from Serbia did. It's called The Eclipse, but it was discussing political situation, Yugoslavia post breakup, and Serbia and so on. But somehow she sandwiched it between two eclipses. There was one eclipse in 60 something, and then the one that was complete fiasco in 99. And when it's 60 something, it was the Yugoslavia. I didn't know that, and there was historical footages of that. Actually, like government had Yugoslavia had the whole this campaign of educating people how to watch this eclipse, and they were going to schools and teaching people, how to protect their eyes, and there was this push for people to go and watch this beautiful event, and because at that time people trusted their government, and in 99 there was the complete opposite in Serbia. And also I was wondering, like I compare that also to what we had with COVID nowadays. We have this rise of anti-vaxxers, and really we had this problem. I mean, we had enough very early on, enough vaccines in Serbia, but uh, eventually not that. I think our numbers are maybe in the 50% or so, and now we have very very low number of people who vaccinated their kids MMR. Like I think in Novi Sad, like so kids who are of age, I think 0 to 2 years, they're supposed to get this vaccine. I don't know what's the time frame. I think the number is in 27%. That's like scary. Oh, and then I asked my dad. Then I asked my dad because in the 70s there was this outbreak of smallpox, right?
Hmm.
And I was like, so I knew that there's this old movie, Yugoslavian Variola Vera. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a classic. Like that's the most scary movie ever, and real about this event, Variola Vera. And I know about that event, but I never had anything to compare it against. And after this COVID, I had occurred to me. I asked my dad, "Oh, how did you guys, when that outbreak was happening, were you scared?" I was like, "Yeah." My dad was like, "Oh yeah, I was scared. I mean, we weren't that scared, but did you know anyone who died?" I was like, "No. I mean, we were young, but we knew like if you would get infected because that rate is really high, you're gone. But there weren't that many infected people." And I was like, "But how was the vaccination? Like because there was this." I think Yugoslavia set the record on the largest number of people, like millions of people vaccinated in the shortest amount of time. And my dad said, no, they were just basically almost like chasing us on the street. Like they vaccinated him in school. He was teaching in school. They were stopping buses to check if people had received vaccines. If you haven't, no questions asked, you just got the vaccine. And I was like, oh, well, didn't you find that weird when you're scared of vaccines or something? No, why not? Because we trusted the government. And that was the difference. That was the like how much we put trust in science is it's tightly correlated to how much we trust our governments. Yeah, I think. So it's a social trust in science is it's a social topic, like it
Mhm.
impacts the society.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
now that we
definitely.
are basically immersed in a lot of scientific things, right? We speak about science at every corner. Everything is
Mm,
speaking about science.
mm.
So at the end, we have to know who to trust and how to understand the news that we are hearing about, right?
Yeah, now
And the
more than
political
ever.
decisions
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
political decisions
Mm,
about
mm, mm.
those scientific things, right?
What scares me nowadays is like the chat GPT, for instance, which now we're on that topic.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it is related to science communication and to trusted sources. Because really, if you type in any query to chat GPT, like the tone that it returns information, it's pretty authoritative. Like it sounds like authority, like it knows what it's talking about. And I mean, I love the tech, but I'm not sure how ready we are as a society to have a search engine like that, a search engine like tools like ChatGPT integrated into search engines, because so I've seen this tweet from this doctor. He tested it for some treatment for some specific conditions. I don't remember. And he got some reply that he said, "Oh, okay, that seems plausible. I didn't know." Because the reply, the chat GPT, the answer was that, "Oh, there was this study that showed that treatment we're using this showed improvement." And this doctor said, "Oh, I didn't know about that. Can you please provide me the source? I mean, that seems like interesting study." And ChatGPT, of course, just hallucinated, made up the
Yeah.
reference, which I also confirmed on many cases, and that's scary, because
Yeah.
even experts can get tricked. But now we're experts. We know how to check. We try to at least be aware of our blind spots, so that we too have bias. So we double check ourselves also, but general user, general population doesn't have that well developed critical thinking, and to be able to use that tool in such a way that it doesn't actually cause harm, basically. So that's why I'm afraid a bit about that. Like, even nowadays in science communication and fighting pseudoscience and misinformation, we are having a hard time. Uh, it might be even harder with this, because if it's trained on the entire internet, there are many things on the internet. It's just a statistical tool. It's not giving you references. It can pick up things from wherever. So
Yeah, now going in the arena together with ChatGPT and everything else, that will be really, really hard, right?
yeah, really, yeah.
So I think we can wrap up. So thank you, Tiana, for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and good luck with the new podcast that you are preparing.
Thank you.
Keep us posted about it.
Yes, yeah. I'm pretty sure I'll ping you for advice. Yeah, and then I'll definitely share my episodes with you.
We will share it with
you.
our listeners as well. So yeah, thank you.
Great.
Bye.
We're
Great,
looking
guys.
forward to
Bye.
it.
Take care.
Bye.
Tudi tokrat sva pripravili nekaj svežih astronomskih novic. Prva je zelo zanimiva novica z mojega področja, ki sem jo prebrala ravno na dan snemanja. V vesolju obstajajo namreč zanimiva območja in enemu izmed teh pravimo Pajkova mreža. Gre za skupino galaksij, ki jo je vesoljski teleskop Hubble opazoval že leta 2006, ko so v tem majhnem koščku vesolja odkrili radijsko galaksijo. Torej galaksijo, ki oddaja veliko radijske svetlobe, in zraven še polno satelitskih galaksij, kjer nastajajo nove zvezde. Na sliki zgleda, kot da je galaksija v središču prepredena z mrežo zvezd, ki jo povezuje z bližnjimi galaksijami, in od tod tudi ime Pajkova mreža. Območje opazujemo v trenutku, ko je bilo vesolje staro približno 10 milijard let, torej ko je vesolje imelo manj kot par procentov današnje starosti. Galaksije, ki spadajo v Pajkovo mrežo, se bodo pa v prihodnosti sestavile v jato galaksij, in ker gre za jato v povojih, ji pravimo kar protojata. Pajkovo mrežo so astronomi poznali že dlje časa, sploh zaradi prisotnosti te radijske galaksije. V tej raziskavi, ki jo omenjam in ki je bila objavljena v znanstveni reviji Nature, pa astronomi niso pregledali galaksij, marveč so iskali plin. Ko se galaksije sestavljajo v večja in bolj masivna združenja, jih začenja ovijati vedno bolj vroč plin, ki ustvarja neke vrste atmosfero teh velikih območij. In astronomi so, zato da bi ta plin tudi posneli, uporabili podatke niza radijskih teleskopov ALMA, ki se nahajajo v Čilu, da bi preverili učinek sunjajev Zeldovich. Učinek dobi ime po ruskih fizikih Rašidu Sunjajevu in Jakovu Zeldoviču in do tega učinka pride, ker vroči plin v jati ali protojati vtisne pečat na presevanje in je nekako neodvisen od tega, kako globoko nazaj v čas sežemo. Ta vroč plin sedaj tudi dodatno potrjuje, da je to združenje galaksij izredno bogato in da se kljub tako majhni starosti vesolja že sestavlja v protojatu. Eno od pomembnejših vprašanj planetarne astronomije je, kako je Venera postala tak življenju neprijazen svet. Znanstvena revija Science je pred kratkim, marca meseca, objavila raziskavo o vulkanski aktivnosti na Veneri. Raziskovalci so potrdili to vulkansko aktivnost na podlagi 30 let starih podatkov NASIne sonde Magellan. V Osončju vemo, da sta le dva svetova, ki sta trenutno vulkansko aktivna, to sta Zemlja in Jupiterova luna Io. Njima se pridružuje torej tudi Venera, o katere aktivnosti so znanstveniki že sumili, enega izmed dokazov pa so našli tudi sedaj. Venero obdaja gosta atmosfera in o njenem površju imamo relativno malo informacij. Zaradi nemogočih razmer so v preteklosti sonde, ki so pristale na Venerinem površju, tam preživele le nekaj ur. Ameriška misija Magellan pa je med leti 1990 in 1994 s pomočjo posebnega radarja izdelala zemljevid površine Venere s sicer dokaj nizko prostorsko ločljivostjo, tam nekje med 100 in 300 metri. Skozi Venerino gosto atmosfero bosta po letu 2030 gledali dve vesoljski sondi, NASIna Veritas in evropska Envision, in to s posebnimi radarskimi sistemi. Torej, kot rečeno, o vulkanski aktivnosti Venere so obstajali sumi že prej, ker je namreč Venera planet brez magnetnega polja in torej brez tistega ščita, ki bi jo zaščitil pred sončevim vetrom. Sončev veter pa naj bi povzročal izgubo atmosfere. Venerina gosta atmosfera torej je najverjetneje posledica vulkanske aktivnosti, ki je iz notranjosti planeta prenesla na površje pline, ki so potem zapolnili Venerino ozračje. Avtorja raziskave, objavljene v reviji Science, pa sta v posnetkih misije Magellan, ki so nastali z razmikom 8 mesecev, v bližini vulkana Mat Mons na območju Atla Regio našla spremenjeno površje zaradi vulkanske aktivnosti. Za daljši članek v slovenščini vas vabiva, da si pogledate v Sončev blog, na katerega piše astronom Primož Kajdič, ki sva ga med drugim tudi gostili v 18. epizodi najinega podcasta in se z njim pogovarjali o Soncu in medplanetarnem Sončevem vplivu. Med aktualnimi dogodki na nebu naj omeniva misijo Evropske vesoljske agencije JUICE, ki bo izstreljena 13. aprila letos. Proti Jupitrovim lunam bo poletela iz francoske Gvajane na raketi Ariane 5. Njen akronim JUICE, Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, nam takoj pove, s čim se bo ukvarjala. Vsaj 3 leta bo imela pod drobnogledom naš plinasti velikan Jupiter in 3 izmed njegovih največjih lun, Ganimed, Kalisto in Evropo. In če bi radi skupaj s slovenskimi astronomi spremljali njen vzlet, vas vabim, da se pridružite oziroma spremljate Zavod Kozmolab. Spremljevalni program bomo pripravili na YouTube kanalu Zavoda in če se naročite na kanal, boste dobili tudi obvestilo o prihajajočem dogodku.
Še aktualno na nebu. Luna bo v ščipu 6. v maju pa 20. aprila. Prvi krajec bo v zvezdju dvojčkov in torej v bližini Marsa konec meseca, 25. in 26. aprila, par ur po sončevem zahodu. Kaj pa planeti? Venera bo lepo vidna v prvem delu noči, medtem ko bo Merkur viden v mraku skoraj do konca meseca. Nekje do 11. aprila jo boste lahko skupaj opazovali nad zahodnim obzorjem, nekje uro po sončevem zahodu. Med ostalimi planeti pa bo Mars viden večji del noči, Saturn pa obzorij. Jupiter žal ne bo viden. Za več podobnih dogodkov vas vabiva, da v roke vzamete knjigo Glej jih zvezde, ki jo prodaja slovenska astronomska revija Spika, ali pa si ogledate dogajanje na nebu preko različnih brezplačnih aplikacij. V zapiske dodajava tudi povezavi za prelete mednarodne vesoljske postaje.
V tokratni epizodi je bila z nama srbska astrofizičarka in popularizatorka astronomije Tijana Prodanović, s katero sva klepetali o marsičem, predvsem pa o povezavi med TikTokom in astronomijo.
Za glasbeno kuliso, ki že 3. sezono spremlja ta podcast, se zahvaliva Peliju, ki z Aljom in Zijem oblikuje podcast Opravičujemo se za vse nevšečnosti. Prisluhnete jim lahko vsak ponedeljek. Z vami so bili
Dunja
in Maruša.
in slišimo se prvi ponedeljek v maju.